What's the hurry? I'm going to find whoever did this.
Want to have your clip featured in the Skyrim Clip of the Week? Simply record the clip on your Xbox and then send it to me via message. My gamertag is iRyanI, that's IRYENI, and then you can message it to me over Xbox and I'll be able to view it. I look forward to seeing the clips that you guys send me. Now moving on to the video. Hey, what's up guys, it's Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of Modded Monday. We're on week number 242 now, guys. I've picked out 5 new mods for you guys to check out and perhaps add them to your load order if you find them interesting. But like always, before we jump into them, I want to remind you guys that I'm partnered with GamerSupps, which in my opinion is the best energy drink on the market. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, be sure to check out the link in the description where you can go to their store page, and you can also use the code RTD for a 10% discount on all your purchases. I also want to say, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any brand new mods each and every single week. Now that all that's out of the way, we can jump into this week's mods, and starting us off, we have the Simple Performance Any Tweaks mod. The mod page reads, "Hey everyone, so here's another Any Tweaks mod. This time I made this for someone, but saw no reason not to share. Anyways, this is a general performance improving setting mod, which is something we're always looking for, especially with the new anniversary edition. There was tons of problems that came out, so we're always looking for ways to make our load orders always work properly, and we're always looking for new performance mods, and this is a very small one coming in at 128 bytes. It's a very, very small mod there, and it includes so many different quality of life changes, as well as a very important thing that I'm going to talk about right here at the beginning. One of the things that this mod actually does is it increases the number of search results that appears whenever you're actually browsing for mods. So if you're actually going to be installing a new load order, it would be important to get, if you're going to be using the unofficial Skyrim Special Edition patch, grab that first, but if not, grab this mod first, and then go searching for your mods, because then you have so much more room to search on the mod page. You know, whenever you're going through and looking for mods, the categories actually end after about, I think it's 100, I'm not really sure the exact number, but this bumps it up to 300, and it makes it feel like the number's pretty much endless. So you could be countlessly searching for mods, and we're not even in the game of Skyrim yet, and I already like what this mod brings to the table. But not only that, we have a bunch of other stuff that this mod also does, such as making NPCs actually use their ammo, so whenever you have a follower, you can't just give them one arrow because that's not really realistic. You'll have to give them an abundance of arrows, and they'll actually be used every time they actually attack opponents now. It's not just going to be one arrow and then it, lasts forever. You're going to actually have to compensate for how much ammo they're using in combat, which I think is really cool. Some other things this mod does is it downscales shadow resolutions to 1K, which gives you a slight performance boost. It also makes it so the message for being over encumbered isn't so frequent and now happens once every 3600 seconds or so. It changes the grass fade in range, the grass types per texture, the grass size. Skyrim's winds have been changed as well to give you a slight performance boost there too. There's so many different things that have been tweaked and changed with this mod, and the reason why it's such a small 128 byte mod is because this is all in the vanilla game. They're just basically changing how the game functions based on the numbers that are found in the code of Skyrim. And the way that they set it up here, they disable tutorials, they change the tree load distance, they make it so the water reflections are now on a 1K resolution. All of these things that they tweak about Skyrim are very not noticeable at all whenever you're playing the game. But it makes it so the game runs properly in the background and makes it so you have more frames as you're playing as well. And I think that's something that's very important whenever we're testing and creating load orders, making it so you have no stutters, no crashes, no, hiccups in your gameplay, so you have as much fun as possible. So it's pretty much a no-brainer to install this mod if you have the slot for it, just so we have the smoothest Skyrim experience possible. And that's definitely why this mod's featured here at our number 5 spot, so I'd strongly recommend downloading the Simple Performance Any Tweaks mod. Coming in at our number 4 spot, we have a very useful mod called Bound Tools, which is something that I'm shocked I haven't seen before after, years of Skyrim modding. It seems like such a simple idea, but extremely, extremely useful, so I'm really glad we found it now. This mod does exactly what you may think. It just adds 2 new spells into the game that allow you to summon pickaxes and woodcutter's axes, and the spell tomes for these can be found in Dragon's Reach near Farengar. And the reason why I find this mod so useful is not everyone always carries a pickaxe or woodcutter's axe on them, and the time that you actually need a pickaxe or another axe like that, it just so happens you don't have one in your inventory. But why would you have one in your inventory? Because they weigh so much and they weigh you down, you never use it really, but whenever you do need it, it has to be there for you. And that's exactly what the Bound Tools mod does. It makes it so you can always have a pickaxe or a woodcutter's axe on you. It's just simply a spell that you can cast and it summons it in your hand. You can mine all the ore that you want and then it'll be put away once you sheathe the weapon or 120 seconds is up. And the same thing goes for the woodcutter's axe. If you ever need wood, there's normally always a woodcutter's axe next to one of those stations where there's wood. So I would say that the pickaxe is probably the most useful part of this mod here, but a woodcutter's axe also very, very good too. I just really like the idea, how simple it is, everything works properly, there's no issues at all. You just basically can summon a pickaxe and woodcutter's axe at will and do all your mining and crafting that way. So the next time you're about to go out and explore and look for crafting materials, definitely get the Bound Tools mod before you leave, because it'll save you all that inventory space that the original pickaxe and woodcutter's axe would have taken up otherwise, and that's definitely why this mod's featured here at our number 2 spot, so I'd strongly recommend downloading it. Coming in at our number 3 spot, we have a huge upgrade to one of the cities in Skyrim, and this is the Greater Markarth expansion. The mod page reads, yet another mod that adds stuff to Markarth. This differs from other Markarth mods because they feel as though Markarth mods shouldn't overshadow the city. They feel as though it should just fit into the city and make it feel like it was in the game from the get-go, and they don't quite click with any of the other Markarth mods available, so they decided to go with their own. The new features of Markarth include a new watchtower for the guards to watch out for threats and for users to admire the view. You have the Silverblood Palace, which is a huge mansion that has a bunch of good loot worth stealing. We have a bakery, some houses for NPCs in the city, a new tavern, a new vendor in the market, and a house for them just outside the walls, as well as NPCs for all the new locations as well. Now, in my personal experience, I don't travel to Markarth all too often, but the mod creator is 100% right whenever it comes to overhauling a city. Whenever you overhaul a city or you change how a city looks, you don't want the changes to actually overshadow what was in the vanilla game of Skyrim, because you still want it to have that vanilla feel, You don't want Markarth to just feel like some random town that you've never been in before or not even look like Markarth anymore. You actually want it to feel like Markarth but be upgraded, and that's exactly what the Greater Markarth expansion does here. It just makes it so there's so much more to do in Markarth, and it doesn't take away anything, it just enhances everything, and that's always what we're looking for in city expansion mods. So if you spend a lot of time in Markarth and you're maybe looking for an upgrade or maybe more things to do or just ways to enhance the city, then the Greater Markarth expansion is definitely a mod I'd recommend checking out, and that's definitely why it's featured here at our number 3 spot, so I'd strongly recommend downloading it. Coming in at our number 2 spot, we have an amazing new armor mod called Ebony Reforged, and we're using the Royal Guard for this, but we'll get into the other armor sets that are included with the Ebony Reforged mod later. But the mod page reads that the purpose of this mod was, originally, to provide a retexture of the Ebony armor parts based on the color scheme that they used for their Firehawk armor mod. They recently reworked those textures from scratch, and this time actually kept their working files, meaning that the mod creator can create color variations of the Ebony armor easily and quickly. Therefore, they'll be periodically updating this mod with new texture sets, and as you can see, we're using the Royal Guard one here, which is amazing looking. I really like how all of the bright colors come off of the Ebony armor here. And you can see as I walk up and actually, use the smithing station, you saw all of the new types of armor, weapons, all the different variants that you can have as well. They all fit this Royal Guard theme, and not only do we have a Royal Guard theme with this, there's 3 other themes that you can also download if you don't necessarily like the way the Royal Guard looks. These armors include the Ebony Reforged Phoenix armor, which has steel gray items with red and gold trim. Then you have the 3rd era Ebony Reforged mod with black items and gold trim, which is based on the appearance of ebony equipment from Morrowind and Oblivion. And then finally you have Onyx, which is a black equipment with silver trim. Now, I'll also provide screenshots of all the other armor sets as well, so if you don't necessarily like the Royal Guard armor, you can go ahead and download the Phoenix or the 3rd era or the Onyx mod. Whichever one suits you better, because they all look completely different, and in my opinion, this is the best the Ebony armor has ever looked. And to see a huge upgrade to the Ebony arsenal, I think that's perfect. You know, we have so many different choices as well now, with 4 different types of armor sets that you can use that also come with weapons as well, which I think is absolutely incredible. So not only will you be looking badass in your armor, you'll be carrying a new badass Ebony mace, a hatchet, a hammer, you name it. So if you ever felt that the Ebony armor in the vanilla game of Skyrim was a little lackluster, give the Ebony Reforged mod a try, because it completely expands the possibilities, and I feel as though this is the best retexture for Ebony armor that you can find on the Skyrim mod page. And that's definitely why this Ebony Reforged mod comes in at our number 2 spot, so I'd strongly recommend downloading one of these armor sets and giving them a try for yourself. Coming in at our number 1 spot, we have a beautifully implemented music mod called Ambient Sorrow, the unique music overhaul. The mod page reads, "For me, music is one of the most important aspects of any game. While I love the original soundtrack, there's always something that I wish was different about it. There just simply aren't enough unique tracks for unique locations in the game." That's where Ambient Sorrow comes in, because it's a complete soundtrack replacer that also adds an additional 20 tracks to unique locations throughout Skyrim. These tracks have a much more darker, more atmospheric feel, while making an attempt to keeping tracks as suitable to their locale as possible. Now, each of these specific locations will have their own unique music. We have the Blue Palace, High Hrothgar, Dragon's Reach, the Palace of Kings, the College of Winterhold, the Companions, Dark Brotherhood Sanctuaries, Fort Dawnguard, Blackreach, the Dragon Priest Lairs, as well as Dwemer Ruins, the Hall of the Dead, Jails, Labyrinthian, the Rataways, Vampire Lairs, Wolf Lairs, Temples, and even the Thieves Guild. Now that already was a huge list of locations that have their own unique soundtracks, but not only that, while you're exploring Skyrim, you have 20 extra soundtracks to listen to as well, all keeping this darker theme, and all the generic Discovery tracks have also been replaced with the original Dread Discovery track from Skyrim. But instead of me just talking about how unique and dark this music actually is, let's just take a listen to it for ourselves. Now, as you can see, this has a completely different vibe from the original Skyrim soundtrack, but I really like the changes here. You know, if you have a whole bunch of lighting mods, as well as, you know, spookier mods as well, maybe things that darken areas, new creatures, maybe you're playing an evil character and you want to have that evil feel in you, then Ambient Sorrow is the way to go, because there's so many new unique tracks to listen to, and the fact that they all kind of fit this atmospheric feel, it really brings everything together, and I've never seen a mod implement this so perfectly because of just how many locations have their own unique soundtrack. I think that's a brilliant idea, and I think that that would make you remember the locations that you visit more, and that's definitely why Ambient Sorrow is listed here at a number 1 spot this week. So if you're looking for some new music to listen to as you explore Skyrim, and you maybe don't want to have the original upbeat that Jeremy Soule originally goes with, and you maybe want to fit a more darker tone of your character, maybe you're playing an evil or more mysterious character, then Ambient Sorrow, the unique music overhaul, is definitely a mod I'd recommend checking out, and that's definitely why it's featured here at a number 1 spot, so I'd strongly recommend downloading it and experiencing all of these new unique tracks for yourself. So that's pretty much it for this week's episode of the top 5 Skyrim mods of the week. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and if you did, I'd appreciate it if you left a like and subscribe if you're new. It really helps me out a lot. And if you have any suggestions for mods you'd like me to cover in future top 5 mod episodes, be sure to let me know in the comment section below, or you can follow me on Twitter. I'll be sure to leave my Twitter in the description, and you guys can follow me on there and leave me suggestions there as well. Special shout out to my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys have done for me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I will talk to you guys later.